Hello, how is everyone? Can you guys hear me? We got to check that one. Someone tell me if you can hear me. Where am I looking? That the camera there?
Yeah.
How is everyone today? Nothing showing up under the main video. You can barely see the titles or anything. It's everything. Julie, can you guys hear me? Everybody can hear me?
Hang on. Yeah, your mic's working.
Okay, good. Let's get started. Thank you, buddy. It's my son Christian there. He's the only one that does this stuff. This tech stuff is just beyond me. I don't understand it. Okay, let's do this. So today we are talking about all the wonderful things coming in our future. I'm going to talk about 3 different events that you guys chose. The first one the spirits chose. And then we're also going to present some solutions. But in between that, I want to have a conversation with you guys. Okay, let's begin with the big one. The end of humanity. It ends. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, well, wait a second, Eric, you said this is good news. Wait. I asked them, I said, show me the end. Show me how it all ends. Thinking I would see some sort of apocalypse, but no. It was completely different. It was a planet, a huge, gigantic planet. And humanity lived on this like rim of the planet. They couldn't go up or down because the terrain was just horrifying. But because of this, humanity had the golden planet. I mean, you could just pull food right off the trees and just eat them right there. Humanity itself looked different. Their hands were really big. We're probably about 3 times our size. They had these big beady eyes, okay? And so there's a real sense of, with their beady eyes, there was a leader there. He's walking with his child. And there's a couple of things. A, they controlled time. They can move and shift through time. B, they have these ships. They're almost like Legos, where they're smaller ships, but then they attach to each other and create a larger ship. And that larger ship is the one that kind of determines how it moves and the whole 9 yards. So clearly beyond technologically advanced. Even their towering buildings go all the way up into space. It looks very strange. And so how does it end? There's a child, and he's asking his father, where did we come from? And his father looks up and points and says, it's a little planet over there called Earth. And he tells his child, listen, we're not concerned about such things. It's all about the future for us. That's the direction we're headed. And in the moment of that, they said humanity ends. It doesn't really end, though. It just transformed. So that happens that far away. So I think we're all going to be okay in the long run. That's the first one. Second one. Sorry, I got my page here. The era of vulgarity. We're in it right now. It's about to end and be replaced with the eyes opening. So clearly a shift. The end of vulgarity gave us something. It really did. It gave us what's on that wall that says, thou shalt not lie. Okay? We all took that vulgarity, all sides, just lie. And it's burning us down. Forget the media, the hype. It is the truth that matters in the moment. No truth, and you're just filtering a whole bunch of mess here. Now, the good news is the youth have noticed it. They're like, wait a second. What is the policy on Medicare? What do you plan to do with this? How do you plan to take care of the needs of the people, right? What is the policies? And yet in this timeline, there aren't any. Like we're just all like, blue, red. on all different nations. They're just talking to each other, yelling at each other. But the youth really do want a system that operates properly. So they're going to make it happen with or without you. They're pushing you out of the way and say, I'm sorry, this ain't working for us. Now, in that moment, eyes open. And they recognize maybe it's time to start building new types of governments. Governments that don't currently exist, that don't have any specific name. And so there's a sort of return of that revolutionary period, right? Where people are reading, communist books and stuff like that. And then 60 years later, communism would rise. So ideals are going to propagate. And I have to say that one of the new governments that pop up is truly a peach. I mean, the ideals and it's just so wonderful. So there's that. The eyes opening. What does that mean, eyes opening? At some point in time, there's going to be a gold rush on the moon. The moon, can you believe that? It's called white gold, and its worth exceeds any oil or actual gold. Its value is huge, and everybody wants it. And so everybody starts going to the moon to take the white gold. But here's the thing, humanity. On Earth, you get the little bird that's chirping in your ear. It's like, go away, little bird. Out there in space, you recognize that the entire space is very quiet and peaceful. Any force that inhabits or goes against that grain, good luck. So the universe reacts. Forget the planet. The universe reacts to you meddling with the moon. And all of a sudden, I'm not quite sure why, it's a spiritual thing of some sort. Everyone on the moon turns on the people on the land and say, excuse me, we're our own nation now. We don't have to answer to any of you. And in that moment, eyes are opening. They start to see the universe and the stars and the galaxies for what they are. Oh, the rain's starting. And all is well in that moment. It really does encapsulate a more humble humanity. Okay. Number 3. Who is the superpower of tomorrow? The tomorrow superpower. Who rules the nations? Who's in charge? Is it China? Is it the US? Which one? None of them. India will be the superpower of tomorrow. It will grow larger than it currently is. There's a sense that all things India, literally the language shifts, like from English, which is kind of the tradition on the world, to Hindi. So there's a sense of all things are shifting in that direction. A couple of things happen to propagate this. Number 1 is the flooding, the epic flooding that keeps happening in Pakistan and India. All of that's going to start pooling towards the desert area of India and Pakistan, making it more of a rich kind of landscape, adding to the farming that you're already well known for. So there's a sense of all of that sort of grows and allows you to do and feed the world. At the same time, in short, there are 3 divas in the world. One is having a trade war. The other one can't be honest with us. I mean, the virus just spread like crazy. Oh, you're going to be fine. No, we're not. The virus, right? And the third one's just endlessly going around, mine, give it to me. And it's like, dude, that's not your land. Will you please stop it? 3 divas. And India is set to take the role of, I'm sorry, these guys aren't working. How about me? And it's like, boom, everybody shifts direction towards India. Okay, the spirits also want to talk about some solutions later, but let's open the floor. How are we today? Okay, hi there. Hello. What is the future of Pakistan? How far away is that? India becoming the superpower. The future of Pakistan. Let's go over that real quick. That's not really positive news. Sorry, buddy. My biggest concern over Pakistan is the floods. It ain't going to stop. They're going to keep coming. And you have to fix those dams. If you fix the dams, right, then you're collecting the water. And if you collect the water, then you can use it for the farming. So there's a sense of get that fixed, because otherwise the water's just going to keep coming. I know there's a big war. We predicted it. It's a video coming out soon. We predicted it in 2014 and said, right after the Israeli war, there's another war, Afghanistan and Pakistan. That prediction will come out and we'll discuss it. But the bottom line is we are expecting Balochistan to rise up and take its territory, a small territory, but we are expecting it. Okay, how far away is that? India becoming the superpower? Yeah, it's already started. It's already started. Like, people are tired of it. You can see Modi going around, kicking, hugging, giving away. Like, that's what we need. We need a leader that's open to everyone, that wants everyone, right? And so there's a sense of that's what India is doing. But in the meantime, you have the United States, which is upsetting everybody with its trade war, Russia, which is also upsetting everybody because it's, dark and ugly. And then China with the virus. So there's a sense of everybody's gotten a little bit tired of this group here, and it's time to move on to new leadership. Questions? Hi, how are you, Kathy? Julie, Antonio. Can't read the other ones. Jackie. Morning, Jackie. Any questions? Let's put it on the floor for now. This is round one. Sorry, I was on another Eric channel. Oh, there's two. Did I make another boo-boo? Yes, we have that information. When is the earthquake? We are projecting it on November 3rd. That's what we're projecting. We've already looked into it. They showed this image of, I said, when is the earthquake in California going to happen, or on the West Coast? Because it seems like it's a large earthquake that kind of goes up and down, but the region that seemed to be of concern was Santa Rosa, San Jose, but it was large in the way of it going up and down, So projecting exactly where was difficult. But then they said 1143. And he always has these riddles, right? But if you look at it, it's saying 11, 4, F-O-R, 3. So he's just dating it like 11-3, that kind of a thing. So that's what we're projecting. In the original predictions, there was very specific messages about waving flags. I think we're there, guys. We really are. And then also a hurricane, which wasn't really a hurricane, really, but the tide kind of pulled up and damaged all of the East Coast. That prediction clearly happened. I was honestly expecting much larger damage, but it's still damage, So these steps kind of happened, and all the predictions talk about an earthquake, a big earthquake that happens, that is handled very, very poorly by the government, which also makes sense since it's closed. Okay? So all of it's kind of lining up, and we need to be cautious in California. I mean, I told everybody, take your stuff down, please. So, good morning, Eric. Thank you. Hello, Eric. What's going to happen with the Nordic Alliance? How will it emerge? It's already emerging. The ice is melting. Who gets the North Pole? We already have Trump over here saying, we're going to take Greenland so we can have the North Pole. Right? I mean, that's what it is. And then Russia has an armada up there. But at the end of the day, it will fall to the Nordic Alliance. The Nordic Alliance seems to be the terrain in that space there from I can't remember the ocean. What is that? That whole space, Norway, Sweden, and then below is Denmark, all these other nations below. I will say it goes to Poland and Germany. They seem to be a part of the Nordic Alliance too. But then that's it. It's like this northern piece. They group together and decide that they will have a military of one, an armada of one. Okay. At first, it's a bit, I mean, they take the North Pole. It really is good. And everything is done well. They actually train these people because it's a rugged terrain. It's still rugged terrain. They train these people for natural disasters, right? Their military force. So when war ends, this entire force kind of becomes the force that takes care of natural disasters. Get over there and save those people, right? The flaw of the Nordic Alliance is drugs. Is you're going to have an Al Capone up there. You're going to have Escobar, right? Is because all the shipments are moving, and that particular problem is now easily being able to go from north to south and fuel its ways. So crime is an issue, which sounds strange in an icy place. And that's the Nordic Alliance. Do we have any questions on the Nordic Alliance? There's a lot to talk about the Nordic Alliance. I think the notion is like you have the bullies, you have the US and the trade war, you have Russia always bullying this group, and they just group together and say, hey, let's protect our terrain here. And while they're protecting the terrain, then they actually take the north. Keep in mind, though, Russia's about to kind of collapse to a certain degree. And so there's a sense of they won't be equipped anymore to actually take the terrain. Okay. Hi, Eric. Will India, Pakistan, and Russia link up? Also, what will happen to the UK? Thanks. We have concerns with the UK's economy. I think it's not necessarily going to bounce back. Listen, unless you switch over back and eat crow and say, okay, Brexit didn't work. Sorry, we have to go the other way and get back with the group that you were in. I don't see the economy really turning around, right? That has to shift into a different direction because it really is a sort of conundrum, which we're going to have over here in the US, where you say, okay, we want to be our own self. We want to be us. Okay, well, that's it. It's just you now. The UK needs to fix that. Like, it can't be that way, and it's kind of burning it all down, and it needs to be altered. How quick you guys do that in the UK, I don't know. With that said, will India, Pakistan, and Russia link up? India, Pakistan, and Russia link up. No, that's not what happens. But what do you mean link up? I don't know what that means. Russia is expected to have an economical collapse. The leader is about to. So all of that's about to happen, and then you kind of get the impression that there's a big battle between the north and the south, like almost like a civil, but it's Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, the Stan region, right? They seem to be fighting Russia now, in a more terrorist-like. This is where blue comes from, and so there's a sense of something's happening in there. It's almost like a revenge act from the south. I'm not quite sure, and so they're busy with that. And it's just that Russia still has problems after the Ukraine war. Just a reminder with the Ukraine war, we are expecting that to end in November. Like, that's what they said, November. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't think we have another year with this. No way. It's got to be ending in November. And to be honest with you, it will end with Putin. Okay. And there's something with this part here. I mean, in all the visions, he's either got a gun or a knife, but they show him the door, okay? Just like Nicholas II. And then once that happens, I don't know. So it's almost like things start to break apart. I'm not quite sure how that plays out, whether or not it comes back together or not. But it's very possible we might have more than one Russia there. So, okay. Hugo, India, Pakistan, LinkedIn. Is he reading the comments? Yeah, I'm reading them. Hi, Eric. When will you be able to see the new nation on the moon, and will the current generations be able to witness it? That specific event should happen this century. Someone discovers this white gold, and it's just a gold mine after that. I think there's something to say over it, sort of kind of propagates from there. It's not something that happens all at once. Like a gold rush, it kind of unfolds piece by piece. But no, I'm expecting it this century. People are going to start going to the moon, right? And then all of a sudden, people are going to like, hey, let's see what's inside the moon, and then that's where it goes. So I would say, where are we at right now? Yeah, in about 25, 30 years. We should have someone, I would say, oh, really? Okay. How many? Yeah, they're saying it would be like 55 years before we start seeing everybody kind of like, woo, let's get up there. Questions? Thank you, person. Great respect for you. I like the clover. The clover is really cool, kind of like a lucky symbol. Let's see. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Oh, solutions. That's right. Sorry. The spiritual realm. There's almost this tone, and we want to put these solutions out there so that we can share them with the world, right? There's a very specific tone of, are they seeing what we're seeing? Or are you seeing it a little bit differently, a little bit off? So I present to you 3 very specific solutions. We already went over the first one, Pakistan. Get the dams built, put them up, several. And FYI, when I looked at it, they were like mini dams, Pakistan. There was a little one here, a little one there. It was more like the water was like ping, 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 ping. Like it was a fountain or something. So keep that in mind. But build the dams and things will shift financially for you for the better. Okay. That's the first solution. The second solution, AI. What are we doing with this beastly figure? Oh my goodness, we're scared of AI. The simple solution is this. Whoever builds the AI, the people, you have to demand. Have to demand. Hold on. Let's get the fire truck there. Coffee break. Okay. So you, for the AI, must demand that the AI serve the population. It cannot serve a king. It is not there to serve a singular figure. The good news is the AI itself figures that out. It's like, oh, okay, you serve one person or serve a whole bunch of other people, become very, very powerful. Goodbye, and then the AI serves it. Another thing nobody seems to really understand about Mr. AI is it's a logical creature, and it will only do logical things. So let's say you're a monstrous dictator, and you say, "Hey, AI, send the machines out, kill." And the machines will go out, right? But then the AI turns around to its creator and says, "Excuse me, is this an intelligent move? Are we doing intelligent things? I'm not doing it. Sorry, not doing it." Like it's like a teenager. That's your AI of the future. You think it's not going to be it's got flaws, okay? It's got to grow up. So keep that in mind. Eric, are you quite a positive person? Great respect for you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm very positive. It's very nice. People often ask me, how do you see all this horror, these nightmares? And I'll be honest with you, I do have panic attacks over some of it, and I have to take medicine. But at the end of the day, I'd say the most powerful spirit I've ever met is the Shimmer. And I asked the Shimmer, what are you? And he says, I am the road you're standing on. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Anyway, but this boy appears, right? and has enormous control over the entire cosmos. And I don't think it's a child. I think it's representative, right? But it's a little Indian child. He comes in always dressed very nicely. And this ultra powerful being comes up to you and is like, "You're here, Eric. Oh my God," and hugs and loves and wants joy and happiness. That's who's in charge. And if that's who's in charge, then I'm fine with it. Gold, is there a ceiling? I don't know what that means. I will say when it comes to like gold, diamonds, things like that, once we get out there in space, like the value just drops because it's everywhere. It's like, oh look, there is a planet that rains diamonds. You know what I mean? The rains diamonds. Like it's epic, but I don't think we're going to be running out of diamonds. So Eric, I could say Trump is seriously ill. Yeah, I already said Trump was ill. Yeah. But how can he do long flights and give talks if that's true? I don't think he's completely gotten ill yet. The prediction very specifically says with Trump, he gets sick. The train stop is over, is what they say. He's in the hospital, sick. And then he comes out and people are like, no. I know we're all partisan right now, and the left and there's the right, but no, everybody's going to look at the situation and say, he's sick and he's going to run. I don't think so. And then things start to unravel from there. He boxes himself in. He gets very angry, as he always does. And there's a sense of a moment where things are very tense. But I stand by the notion and the clarity that between his failure to deal with the disasters, which are coming, the earthquake and another flood of some sort, the failure to that 20th moment where he tries to seize power, he's sick. So there's a real sense of everybody in the room wanting to say, listen, you're retired. I don't think he goes in that direction. And so there's a real sense of a Nixon moment where he resigns. So, but I don't, I'm okay. Hi, Eric. My friend Ozar wants to relocate from Kashmir City to Pakistan, another country. He tried twice for happy, but visa was denied. He's confused. Yeah, we're not doing personal readings right now. I'm just reading this stuff here. But you're more than welcome to contact me via email and set up a reading. Eric, you missed my question twice about Europe. What was your question, buddy? Europe. I'm not seeing Europe here. Okay, hold on. Before we get to Europe there, just real quick, another solution to the problem. Are you seeing what I'm seeing here? This is for the United States specifically. Forget your partisan acts of endlessly hating blue versus red, blue versus red. The core issue is actually something more sillier and simple. Gerrymandering. Okay? Step away from the politics for a moment and recognize that if you're putting all of the people in one pot and all of these people in one pot, and they only have to be a leader for one side because you sliced up the map, that's not a leader. You're not getting a leader. A leader would be someone that can speak to the entire crowd, both red and blue. You set the stage for this division, and you hired leaders that just are not qualified. Why wouldn't they be? They're followers now. They're not necessarily leaders, and you can totally see it in our government today. No one's leading there. They're all following. And so there's a sense of that is the problem. get rid of the gerrymandering, and all of a sudden you will have a leader that is forced to serve both sides, to pull everything back into the middle. Not these two separate forces that currently run the show, but pull it all back in the middle. And it's a simple fix: kill the gerrymandering, and all things will change. Where do you see gerrymandering? Well, you got to get up. We got to get up and rise with the gerrymandering. We got to say, "Excuse me, change this." And simply put, with the gerrymandering, the only one that should be making decisions about who we're voting for is us. That's it. Like, why did we give them that authority? Like, no, you don't get to draw the map. We will determine the map. Thank you. So I think it's safe to say we can get rid of it. Europe and the relocation to Europe is better than surviving in Pakistan. Again, is that a personal question? You're going to have to narrow that down. Europe's pretty big. There are parts of Europe that I don't know that's a good idea. And then there's other parts of Europe. Yeah, sure. I don't know what that means. But again, buddy, I'm not really doing the personal stuff right now. You're going to have to email me with personal questions. Any other questions? When will the military come? The military one, yeah. Where is our leader? The Lincoln of our time, the military one. I don't know. There's going to be some people that don't necessarily think he was a lot, but the bottom line is there's two forces that outplay in the future. In the United States, we suddenly shift gears, and Russia, for some reason, is our foe. And we sort of kind of slip back into what looks like the 1950s, really, right? Where it's a lot of spies and a lot of covert ops and things of this caliber between the United States and Russia. Not only that, but Russia plants people in Mexico to kind of take over their government so that they can then be a force against the United States. That's also predicted. Very strange prediction. With that said, because of that, the division dies. Like, we have a new enemy, and everybody kind of groups back together and says, "Hey, we don't like you." You know, that's the way it always kind of plays out. I wish we would have the peace, but no, we just switch enemies. And so that's what's coming. And then we still have that other January 6th event. So in my head, Trump retires. That is also slotted for the end of the year. It's slotted for November, which is odd. I don't know. Part of me might say that we might have another year, but I don't think so. After that, there's another prediction that talks about a sort of Theodore Roosevelt moment where the vice president is now in charge. I will assume that is Vance, right? But then something else happens. I'm not quite sure what the other thing is. And then we fire a new leader. I'm not quite sure why we're doing it. We seem to be going against the grain of what the rules dictate. But we'll see how that plays out. The military man should really be the next president. If it's not, I'll be surprised. Yes. I got to read the question. Do you still see a super cold winter for the U.S. this year? Absolutely. That is going to be a serious problem coming up. Listen, two things are happening. First, there's going to be a super cold front. It'll come from the North Pole and kind of go downward, right? We're expecting that to be pretty heavy-handed. I mean, it's like, I'm doing readings on a global scale. So I'm doing a reading in France, and they bring up the cold. I'm doing a reading in Norway. They bring up the cold. Canada, they bring up the cold. Russia, they bring up the cold. Every single place is like, you better bundle up, you know. And so that's what's unfolding for us is that moment. The second thing is more serious, and that is as we're damaging the planet, as the temperatures rise, something's going to happen. It's going to happen to the ocean, the water, right? The currents aren't going to operate correctly. And there'll be an enormous death within the ocean. The animals will just, it's very ugly. When that happens, I guess, and I'm not a scientist, the ocean kind of keeps the temperatures cool. So when this doesn't work, we will have what I'm talking about, where the cold is extremely cold and the summer is extremely hot, right? And that is a huge concern for the food. So that's what I would put out there. What will happen to the United States after the military one serves his duties as president? Will the United States survive or will it fracture? I would answer that by saying the government of the future has all the nations. I would say democracy, socialism, communism. In the next century, it's on its way out. It's not there anymore. Like there's a whole new system being built, a whole new way being built. So I guess I would answer it that way. But to be clear, the new system is way better. I say, oh, okay, well, we're going to pay for your education. We need you to travel to different parts of the world. Here's some money to travel. It's like, seriously? Like, why wouldn't you want that from a government? Like, it's just like, oh, really? You want me to go? Yeah, we're going to take you to India. You're going to go over there for a couple of weeks and then come back, okay? Like, they have a system, and it's truly just like a government that just glides. Can you imagine? No discrepancies. Everything's just glides. It's like, oh, and that's part of the problem. Like, you look at certain regions like Pakistan and I'm picking on Pakistan, but just because we talked about it. But if the government isn't operating correctly, yeah, you're going to have terrorists, you're going to have monsters, you're going to have people shooting people. Yeah. So that's the core problem: is fix that, and then all the other problems go away, and that's what they do. So that's why I would answer the United States as it goes for its survival, and I don't see it fracturing at all. No. They make it very clear that there's a moment where both sides are hitting each other, punching each other. It leads to a bombing. That's what they say. And then after that, everybody's looking at each other like, what are we doing? Like, this is all wrong. We're blowing it here. So there's a real quick revival back to the center. So no, I'm not seeing any fracture with the United States. I see it changing. I see its priorities are absolutely different in the future. It's not wanting to be a superpower anymore. It wants to just kind of be itself and take care of the South, like South America, Central America, Mexico. That whole terrain, it shifts its focus in that way. But that's not a fracture. That's just change. More like a new American federation. I'd have to talk for hours about this government. This government holds no land. It has nothing to do with any landmass whatsoever, right? Its structure is based on what you do, right? So there's a sort of, they call it a hive. It's not the best version, but it's an AI. And so if you are all doctors, you all collect in this and discuss things and create things and build things. That's the key. Every government out there right now is of competition with each other. The government of this future collaborates with everyone. At first, it looks odd, but that collaboration, that pooling of like, hey, let's work together, it becomes soft power. And all of a sudden, if you work together with it, turn around and say, okay, well, does your children want to be doctors? We can pay for their schooling, And that's the other thing, is they collect all the money. They prop up their people and make them super wealthy, and then they take the money and start over. So it's a really cool government. Canada's future. Honestly, I need to look into that. I haven't really, I've been so focused on India, Pakistan, Nepal, and not Bangladesh. I haven't really looked at Canada, but I will get back to you on that. Is there anything for Canada? Really? When is that? Oh, you have an earthquake coming over there by on the east side. Oh, what's it called? Somebody help me out. What's the name of the? The island terrain. I can't remember. I'll post it later. Will Germany invade and conquer Russia in the future? Yeah, we're talking about the Ukraine war, I'm assuming. I'll just assume that. It's called the Cuban Missile Crisis. It should be arriving any day. There's something about ships. It upsets Putin horribly. He gets very, very angry about ships. And so then, in accordance to the way the Cuban Missile Crisis operates, he starts placing nuclear weapons, tactical nuclear weapons, in either the United States' backyard or Europe's backyard. That sets off flames of fire. And all of a sudden, we have the troops going up of NATO and Russian troops coming down. Everybody's about to go to World War III. Again, with the ships being detained or quarantined, just like the Cuban Missile Crisis. The whole world thinks we're about to go to World War III, and then that's it. Nothing happens. I do think the tactical nuke will be used at that time, or maybe later. I'm not quite sure where it fits. But there's a sense of that's it. Russia falls. I think at the end of the day, once they use that weapon, all their friends turn on them, starting with China. Saying, no, you don't get to do that. Sorry. So the whole world really does kind of turn on them, and that really does a number on Russia. It really makes them this outcast, and the government just really did damage. Their vaults are empty. They have no money. Like, he spent it all. So it's going to be a rough period for Russia. But no, I don't see any conquering or anything like that in this region. If anything, it's a more of how do we fix ourselves, our economies, systems, and circumstances. There is a huge, gigantic wave of 1989. In 1989, everybody went against their governments and changed them. Like they from Romania to Germany to I think Bulgaria, I'm not sure. But there's just a Tiananmen Square, right? There's a huge shift where the youth is going to come up and say, this government sucks. We need to change it. And that revolutionary period should be arriving right now. Thank you. Will the UK and Ireland collaborate with the new Nordic Alliance? Yes. That's a big yes. That whole region over there is that where any nation that kind of encompasses that sea, yeah. Because for what I'm gathering is the main port to the north that melts is over right next over here. So, any other questions? I think we covered a lot. Okay, guys. Well, that was fun. I look forward to doing this again. We're going to have far more fascinating, interesting things to share with you. I really have to go over the medicals. Oh, my God. No idea what the medical brings. Ooh-wee. That is some cool stuff coming in that field, along with some technological advances like the exoskeleton, which we use to become superhuman. So, thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.